So that completes our course on WPF data binding in depth. You got a good end-to-end coverage of all the capabilities of WPF data binding, starting with the data binding overview, where we covered the basics of bindings and data contexts and so on. We got into data sources and what kinds of objects you can work with, what types of interfaces and support those objects need, as well as what types of collections you want to work with for data binding. We got into the binding core concepts, talking about things like alternate ways of expressing what the source object is, what the path on that source object is, and what the direction of flow of data with the mode property is. We got into the more advanced properties of data bindings and talked about things like doing async bindings and the update source trigger property to trigger when data flows, and using fallback values and string formats and so on. We covered data templates in depth, and you saw that those really start to unleash the power of data binding to allow you to have custom rendering of your data-bound objects in any kind of container control that's going to do data binding. We looked at the design time features in Visual Studio and a little bit in Blend that help you get really productive with data binding, dragging and dropping your way to a data-bound UI and generating the UI elements and getting them a decent layout to start with. We dove under the covers a little bit and showed you what's really going on when data binding occurs in building up the visual tree based on the data-bound objects. And we reviewed the collection controls, and we reviewed the common collection controls and made sure you really knew how to use all the properties associated with data bindings for things like combo boxes, list boxes, tab controls, and data grids, as well as collection view sources. And finally, we finish off in this module with validation. So that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you very much for viewing the course. Please recommend it to your friends. Be sure to come back and watch parts again if you need to review concepts and review the code. And hopefully at this point you feel very well equipped to go start hooking up your complex data-bound UIs for your business applications.